A rivalry renewed in the house that Rockne built.
You know, Navy presents another challenge, right?
Catches, and he walks in! Another touchdown for Notre Dame!
After escaping the Eagles in Chestnut Hill, it's a grudge match at Notre Dame Stadium.
Each game you play presents different challenges.
25-20, 15-10, 5 touchdown.
Navy sails into South Bend with their vaunted triple option offense.
It's the Notre Dame locker room, and the brotherhood is always going to be the brotherhood.
Throws on the run, intercepted! Adon Schuler!
Every game's a playoff game, and we have to take advantage of every opportunity we get.
With their pedal to the metal.
Here he goes, across the 20, over the 30, track meet, and you're not going to catch Jeremiah Love!
The Irish find themselves in the field of the college football playoffs.
Get back to the moment, get back to work, because that's what's important.
Like, you focus on doing your job and dominating and playing as absolute hard as you can. And don't worry about everything else.
But those championship dreams start today. The most respected rivalry in the nation. It's the 98th meeting, Notre Dame versus Navy.
A rivalry game that we're looking forward to here on Saturday.
This is ABC57 Kickoff, presented by Afton Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your host, Vahid Sadrazadeh.
A beautiful day. Look at those fall November colors on the campus of Notre Dame, high atop the Golden Dome. A beautiful day for Fighting Irish football. The Navy midshipmen returning to the house that Rockne built to challenge the Irish. Their 98th all-time meeting, a rivalry that began way back in 1927. Thanks for joining us here on ABC 57 Kickoff. I'm Vahid Sadrazadeh. Tonight marks the third straight rivalry game for the Fighting Irish. They come into this matchup 6-2 on the season, 6 straight wins, and a too close for comfort 25-10 win last week over the Boston College Eagles. Every game obviously boosting their chances of making and maybe even hosting a college football game in the playoffs in December. The first college football playoff rankings and projections were released this week. Notre Dame making a big splash with the 10th spot in the 12-team bracket. If the playoffs were to start right now, the Irish would travel to Utah to take on the 7th-ranked BYU Cougars. Up at the top, it is the Alabama Crimson Tide, tied at the 4 seed. A&M is at number 3. Of course, the Aggies defeated Notre Dame in the Irish home opener earlier this year by just 1 point. Another Indiana team making a splash, the Hoosiers, sitting at number 2 overall, of course, led by head coach Curt Cignetti, and of course, sitting at the top of the rankings, the Ohio State Buckeyes, all in an opportunity to get to Hard Rock Stadium later in 2025. The blue and gold and head coach Marcus Freeman looking for a chance to run it back this season, but we are a long way from the playoffs beginning, and every single game right now is a must-win situation for Notre Dame. The next step is tonight against Navy. The rivalry runs deep. It represents the deep ties that bind these two schools. The U.S. Navy helping keep Notre Dame afloat way back during World War II when they used university facilities and training grounds, solidifying that close bond. A clear respect between these two schools and programs.
We know how big this game is for us personally, but also for the rivalry. I always say that what's more important than the opponent is the obligation we have to each other to get our jobs done. That's what's personal, right? Is that I have an obligation to everybody in this football program to get my job done as the head coach, and I want every person in our program to have that same mentality. That's what we got to take personal. But this rivalry game is one that it means a lot, just the history of it, and it'll be a good challenge.
Well, one of the great traditions in college football, each team stands for each other's alma mater at the end of the game, making it one of the most respected rivalries in college football. And all day here on ABC 57 Kickoff, we are diving into the history and traditions surrounding the annual game, including our salute to service, honoring Michiana veterans for their service to our nation. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes. Meanwhile, ABC 57 Kickoff reporter Talia Baez standing by with head coach Marcus Freeman's focus this week. But first, it is going to be a cool one at Notre Dame Stadium today. Blustery conditions, rain, snow. It's November, baby, in South Bend at Notre Dame Stadium. Emmett Toomey, First Warning Neighborhood Weather Meteorologist, is standing by live on Eddy Street. Emmett, what kind of forecast do you have for us tonight?
Ooh, Vahid, I wish I had better news for you. I like to think all weather is football weather, and you got to be a real football sicko if you're going to be enjoying this weather tonight, especially if you are going to the game. It is going to be messy, and it is going to be cold, cold, cold. Let's talk about that. So next to me, you have the temperatures here, the coldest temperatures that Notre Dame and their opponents have kicked off in so far this regular season. No surprise, today's forecast likely going to be the coldest and blow that previous record out of the water. That previous record, of course, being Boston College just last week. Then, of course, you have NC State, you have Texas A&M in those third and fourth spots, but nothing has really come close to the weather that we're going to be seeing today. It's either been sunshine and rainbows for Notre Dame, or it's been gloomy, still a little bit warm, like in Texas A&M. But let's talk about Notre Dame and the rain real quick. Believe it or not, the Irish perform exceptionally well in the rain. Notre Dame, they are 2-2 in rain games this season. They're looking to make it 3-2 in the game a little bit later tonight. But rushing touchdowns, of course, we hear it all the time. When it rains, give the ball to your running backs. In this case, Price and Love. I think they're going to be making a bulk of those rushing attempts today. And, of course, rainy rushing touchdowns, 10 of them out of 22 total rushing touchdowns on the season so far. Just under 50% of Notre Dame's rushing touchdowns have come when it has rained. Or in this case, it's likely going to snow a little bit later tonight as well. Believe it or not, Price actually has the better number of touchdowns with that. So something to watch for. Game time temperature and kickoff, low 40s, plenty of rain to start off, and then that rain likely turning to snow in the second half of the game tonight. It's going to feel very winter-like, Vahid, and I don't think we're looking forward to it, but at the very least, it's going to make things fun, especially against Navy's triple option. Vahid?
Well, so I know there was kind of a conversation of whether it was going to rain tonight, snow tonight, could be a mix, moving in. But for those that are tailgating going into the stadium, looks like, Emmett, that rain could start a little bit earlier than kickoff now.
Yeah, Vahid, completely possible. I mean, we're actually getting a few sprinkles right now here on Eddy Street. That's just little impulses there, kind of jettisoning off from the system to the west. I don't think there's going to be any rain during the daytime, at least nothing consistent enough, to warrant the tailgates either being torn down and moved inside or just moved inside completely. But before game time, absolutely possible. It's going to start as rain, though, because our temperatures are still too warm. If we're going to see snow, it's not going to be until the second half of the game or until after the game is over, once those temperatures both in the upper levels and the lower levels of the atmosphere have cooled down enough. It's going to take some time, but Vahid, I think this is the first day of snow for this season so far, and what a better way to start it off for Notre Dame here against Navy.
I agree. Meteorologist Emmett Toomey joining us. Irish 2-2 in the rain this year. Interesting. Can't buy a bucket with the weather this year for the Irish. Well, they are facing a much tougher test this week. A 7-1 Navy team instead of last week, a 1-7 Boston College team. ABC57's Talia Baya has Freeman's focus and what head coach Marcus Freeman has been zeroing in on ahead of kickoff. Talia, I'm guessing it's that kicking game that hasn't been performing that well.
Hey, Vahid. Yeah, that is right. Although Notre Dame is on a 6-game winning streak, the pressure is still on. Every game is a playoff game, and if they lose one, their last game could be in Stanford in 3 weeks. So all week, you can definitely feel that intensity from Coach Freeman and also all those players.
We know it wasn't perfect. Obviously, way too many penalties, mistakes, missed extra points, field goal.
A win is a win, but last week's victory didn't have that classic Notre Dame feel. The team practically left 14 points on the table.
We want to start fast. We want to score every drive. We want to stop them every drive.
5 points came from the special teams alone, 2 missed points and a field goal, all by 3 different kickers, plus a costly red zone fumble by Jadarian Price and a failed 2-point conversion.
It's both physical and mental, but I think it's more starting to trend towards the mental side.
Freeman explaining that the special teams unit has been working closely with the team psychologist, Joseph Rammaker, helping build that confidence back up.
There has to be a process of translating what we're doing in practice to the game. And that's why I say a lot of it is mental.
Slow starts have been another issue. Over the last 3 games, Notre Dame has averaged just 12 first-half points. including scoreless first quarters against both Miami and Boston College.
We have to be able to run the ball, but if teams aren't going to allow you to run the ball, as you're seeing some teams try to do, we've got to be able to throw the ball over top of a defense.
That's led to a more balanced offense than fans are used to. Through 8 games, the Irish have 98 passing first downs compared to just 73 on the ground.
We just got to continue to do what we're doing better. And, we're greedy people. We all want perfection.
But Freeman's main focus, short yardage conversions. The Irish are just 8 for 20 on fourth downs.
Velocity is what matters, and our guys have to be clear on what they're asked to do.
And Freeman says Navy will be a whole different challenge. Way more to prepare for this year compared to last year.
A lot more gun, pistol, and they still have the traditional triple option attack.
Yeah, the key will definitely be being efficient on first and second downs, cleaning up that kicking, and also keeping an eye on number 22, Eli Heidenreich. He's very efficient on the ground and also in the air. So Freeman said they watch as much film as they can, and now it's time to take that energy onto the field tonight. But for now, reporting live from the campus of Notre Dame, I'm Talia Byatt, ABC57 News.
All right, thanks so much, Talia. Some guy that knows something something about the triple option offense. Mr. Evan Sharpley, a good friend of mine.
I didn't run it, but
well, no, you didn't run it. You know about playing the triple option offense and about that Navy defense. He quarterbacked for a number of years here for the Irish, 2005 to 2009. Played Navy five times. Actually, in the house that Rockne built. And where else did you play Navy?
We would have played them in Baltimore, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. My memory's a little hazy at this point. It's been a while.
So about that kicking game.
Yeah.
We're going to come back to that. The Irish, you think it's more mental than anything else?
I think it can be. You know, I kind of compare it to, Chuck Knobloch when he played for the Yankees and had the yips.
Yeah.
Once you make a couple bad throws, and same thing, you miss a couple kicks, you kind of feel that energy as the kicker's walking out there in the stadium. And not that they want you to miss it, but you almost kind of got that in the back of your head. So, I think it can be a mental thing. Once you make one, you gain some confidence. Your teammates got your back. It kind of spiral back uphill then. And it's initially getting that first one. But my prop bet for today is that Notre Dame doesn't kick a field goal.
I don't know about that. Maybe. If they miss that first one, you never know. Let's talk about the rankings real quick before we head to break. Irish coming in at number 10 in the rankings, the first college football playoff rankings last week. ACC, if you're a homer of Virginia, Louisville, Miami, name it, you're not happy.
No.
But you think it's the right place to be?
I think so. I mean, there's still the early rankings, and there's a lot of football still to be played. You got to take care of business. But the memes came out early this season after Notre Dame lost their second game that we'd be having this conversation, that Notre Dame would still be in the playoff football talk with 2 losses. And if they take care of business, I think they have a great argument to be there. But, they got to go out there and execute. They got a tough game tonight. But at 10-2, I think they still get in if they win out.
Do you think Notre Dame is a top 5 team in the country right now?
Not right now. I think there's still some more football I'd like to see them play. It's a really interesting year. You look at the couple of the top teams, Indiana obviously dominating football teams, Ohio State the same thing, and then you kind of have a mixture of maybe some question marks on how teams are going to peak towards the end of the season. So it makes for a really interesting finish. And now that we're to the 12 teams, I think a 10-2 Notre Dame team year in and year out is going to have an argument to be in the college football
We've
playoff.
talked about this before. We've talked about this plenty of times on the podcast and other places, that if you're Notre Dame and you're a fan of Notre Dame and you go 1 or 2 losses, that's the standard from now on. You can do that and still make and maybe even host the college football playoff
and
game.
At that point, you just got to get hot and make a run in the playoffs. Football, you watch it week in and week out. It changes, and it's a game of inches. So just get in and then see where it shakes from there.
Let's see that beautiful form here. That
with the mic, too.
Yeah, with the mic. Let me see this.
Are we going for the field goal or the touchdown here?
Let's go for the whatever. Wow! He's setting the standard early.
Baby.
He's setting the standard early. Well. Oh, my gosh, terrible. Justin Miko, come on with us. Justin Miko, a walk-on, ROTC, a veteran. He's going to be joining us here on set after the break, plus who is injured, who is out for today's game. That's all coming up on ABC 57 Kickoff. Before I embarrass myself more, let's go to break. We'll be right back. It's ABC 57 Salute to Service all day here on Kickoff as Veterans Day approaches, and we get you ready for the 98th all-time meeting between Notre Dame and Navy. Kickoff slated for 7:30 p.m. tonight under the lights at Notre Dame Stadium. And joining us now, President Emeritus of the Holtz's Heroes Foundation, Notre Dame Army ROTC cadet, walk-on wide receiver for the Irish, and many other titles I'm sorry that I don't have in front of me. But such a great guy, and we're so glad and blessed to have him on the show. Justin Miko. Justin, thanks so much.
Hey, it's great to be home. This is a amazing place. Earlier this morning, we were talking about this weather, and I'll tell you, 1982, Wake Up the Echoes, NFL Films documentary was released. And as I was walking across campus yesterday, John Facinda's voice talking about
was in your head.
Was in my head. It was one of those seminal moments. I was like, wow. I've come full circle.
Well, talk about being on campus this year and the great gesture by head coach Marcus Freeman to have ROTC and veterans on campus.
Coach Freeman extended an invitation to the military service members of the Notre Dame football program, past and then those active duty members present. And it's an amazing gesture, and I'll be frank, it's the first time since I've graduated a gesture of that nature. I think it speaks to Coach Freeman's emotional intelligence, his ability to connect with people. But you also need to remember Coach Freeman's the son of an Air Force veteran. So I think there's a lot of credibility in his respect for the service members and the sacrifices that they make and their family members make.
Well, and being from a military family yourself, you said in an interview that you wore blue and gold diapers growing up. Talk about that journey to Notre Dame.
Well, my dad was a 68 grad. He received his master's here. And the God Country Notre Dame was imprinted on us at an early age. And I'll be frank, when we get dropped off at school, in elementary school, he'd say, don't do anything to embarrass your God, your family, your country, or Notre Dame. And moving around the country, there was a couple things that were always present. One was our faith, and two was Notre Dame football. We'd always find a church when we moved to a new community, and we'd always make time for Saturday football games. And we lived and died with the Irish. So to be able to see that dream come to reality has been awesome.
Talk about your first couple of years here. You came on as a walk-on. Lou Holtz was the head coach. Talk about first going into that locker room and being under the leadership of head coach Lou Holtz for those first 2 years.
Well, it was a dream come true. I had held Coach Holtz in such a high self-esteem, and I was to be able to play for him after writing him a letter in 1987 saying I'd love to play for you, and he tells me, take care of your studies and the rest will handle itself. But you had to pinch yourself, when he pulls up in the cart and you're looking at players that you followed, and this was back in the paper days of Blue and Gold Illustrated and items of that nature, but you're looking at guys like, Ron Paulus, Melvin Dansby, a variety of guys that you'd grown up seeing on TV. Now you're stretching next to them. You have to hide your enthusiasm, and a couple hits and you realize, okay, this is still football regardless of what color the helmets are.
Well, and the 6 a.m. drills versus, the drills being an Army ROTC
right.
cadet, what was harder?
It was the drills on the football field. Okay. When you see a 6'8" Mike Rosenthal pulling, and you're supposed to simulate getting blocked, that's a lot more threatening than any of the ROTC drills in Loftus.
We're going to have Army ROTC cadet Jerry Rulo on the show a little later on today. If you had to go back and give younger self some advice, and he some advice as he's graduating, maybe what would it be? What would you say?
Enjoy the moment here and now. Embrace the Notre Dame community. Don't limit yourself to the locker room and the football field, and Jerry, I know Jerry well. My brother and his dad were in ROTC together. Jerry's from Philly. I'm from living outside of Philly. So enjoy the moment, and don't allow the goals to blind you from what you're in the moment right now.
Jerry, thank you so much for being on the show
Absolutely.
today. Thank you for your service.
No, it's an honor, and I appreciate you having me on. And the one thing, the veterans, celebrating them, but as importantly, the family members that support those veterans and active duty service members. The sacrifices they make are remarkable as well.
Justin Miko joining us here on ABC 57 Kickoff. Our salute to service continues all day long. We'll be right back. Our salute to service on ABC 57 Kickoff continues all day as the Irish get set to take on rival Navy at Notre Dame Stadium under the lights at 7:30 p.m. tonight. One of the local veterans we are honoring today is Ralph Bakel, a Vietnam veteran. Bakel served in the Navy during the Vietnam War, but his service to our nation, fellow veterans, and their families was only just beginning. Now the encore presentation of the Emmy-nominated story, Pictures of Courage.
I love 80s music now, but I'm an old time 50s, 60s rock and roller. President Nixon. I sent him a letter when I was in Vietnam, and he wrote me back. My name is Ralph Bakel, and my tours of duty were 1969 through 1971.
Bake, as his squadron called him, was 26 years old when he enlisted in the United States Navy as a radio man and gunner.
This has got all my projects on it that I've done over the years. I owned like 4 or 5 cameras. I got them at a discount working at the store.
But his love of cameras and photography started long before
1968.
His deployment to Vietnam.
It is nice, and I got film for it. One of the first projects I had, I took a black and white. I remember colorizing it with pixels of my niece, Teresa. And my sister still has that from way back when. This was our commander on the Vente Canal on the Cambodian border. I took a lot of pictures of the people on the canal, the kids. Took a lot of pictures of the kids. They loved this. The photographs were, they loved to keep them.
That love, as it turns out, would be a blessing during his tours overseas, the memories of which he will never be able to forget.
That was for wounds in action.
So you received a Purple Heart for your service in Vietnam?
Yeah, just a scratch. Never got anything serious. I was always lucky.
Is that what that was in there for?
Yeah, that's the Purple Heart one. You went out every night and you were going to find Chuck, as we called him, or Chuck was going to find you. One or the other.
Unlike many of his peers, Bakel made it home safely.
Yeah, I always figured I had an angel on my shoulder.
30 years later, he moved his family from Fort Wayne to South Bend and joined the local VA, where this time...
Those are both black and white photos.
His love of photographs merged with his long-lasting love for his country.
We're in Ralph's office, the Grand Poopah's office. I started on it with Photoshop.
A born historian and enthusiast, Bakel would enroll in classes at Ivy Tech in photography, specializing in colorizing and restoring old photos.
I scan over there. This is where I copy. It goes from there to here.
And for nearly a decade, fellow veterans and their families would come to him and ask him to do just that.
I would restore them, and I'd put them on a disc, and I'd put music to it. The VA in my rehab, they purchased all this equipment for me. And they sent me, I think I went to Chicago, is where I ended up going, where they taught me how to use the computer.
Over 5,000 photos, some printed.
Right here they are.
Some gifted.
You wouldn't believe what we used in Vietnam.
All cherished.
I really enjoyed doing it, and I thought I was going to do it forever, but I'm 80 now, and I just, you need to do more to keep up, but I can't. The enemy was on one side and we were on the other side.
Because of his 2 tours of duty, Bakel now has complications related to Agent Orange. Agent Orange was a toxic plant-killing chemical that the U.S. military used to clear foliage during the Vietnam War. As a member of the Mobile Ravine Force, he was exposed to the deadly herbicide daily.
That's how we lived on the boats. We didn't have no uniforms.
And since COVID, those complications have slowed him down more than he would like.
I took that picture.
But these photos...
That's modern warfare.
These keepsakes...
I never forget them.
These lifelong treasures...
Look at the smile on those guys' faces.
Keeps the memories of fallen comrades alive.
This was after a firefight.
And keeps Bakel...
that's the oath of enlistment.
Connected.
Go Irish, yay!
To one of the greatest loves of his life.
If Notre Dame wins, I guess it's okay, but I still root for Navy. Oh, gosh.
His country.
Oh, yeah, I like Navy.
Yeah.
Go Navy. Goodbye, boys.
With the same rich tradition of the Irish.
Wake up the echoes cheering your name.
Send the volley cheer on high.
Shake down the thunder from the sky.
What though the odds be great or small?
Old Notre Dame will win overall.
While her loyal sons and daughters
march on to victory.
It's Tim Brown, Heisman Trophy winner, and you're watching ABC57 Kickoff.
You're watching ABC57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your host, Vahid Sadrazadeh.
Back, inside, keeper, inside the 10, 5, touchdown.
Joining us now on ABC57 Kickoff, the voice of the Navy midshipmen, Joe Miller, joining us here. Joe, thanks so much for jumping on the call.
No problem. Pleasure being here.
Should be a good one. The 98th all-time meeting between these two programs. Obviously, the past two meetings, both have come into this game very competitive, good records, both with postseason aspirations. You know, Navy now 7-1 after a loss last weekend. Where do you see this Navy team slowing the high-powered Notre Dame offense down?
If you go back to the last couple of games, it's been mistakes by Navy that's been the biggest impact in the game. So I think it starts there. It's like, how do you slow them down? You don't give them the ball, 6 extra times. That would help. And I think coming off the loss last week against North Texas, where they turned it over for the first couple times in that game, turnovers really haven't been a big issue for them this year, but it popped up last week. And obviously you go back to last season. In the last couple matchups, they've gone in with some, excitement level, thinking that, hey, offensively, I think we can compete here. And they just have, just turned the ball over way too much. And that's just been their biggest downfall.
Yeah, Joe, I'm curious too. This offense has transformed a bit the past couple years. Still mainly running the option.
Sure.
But with some wrinkles, out of the pistol and shotgun. In your mind, watching them on a week-in, week-out basis, why do you think it's so difficult for opposing teams to prepare for this offense and this style of play?
Well, it's still pretty unique. I'm always interested when we come out and see how teams want to address them because, defensively, most teams are in this era of college football are 4-2-5. So they actually have an extra defensive back out there. And does the team want to change that? Did they want to address that? Do they want to go off script? And we always talk about how many weeks did so-and-so team have to prepare for Navy or we always bring up those conversations. But the other part of this team is the individual talent on this Navy team is really good too.
Speaking of the Jimmies and Joes and not just the X's and O's, head coach Marcus Freeman called Blake Horvath a special player. So what about his game, can make this matchup especially difficult for Notre Dame's defense?
I think the biggest thing that stands out to me is his explosive ability. He might not look like the fastest guy on the field, but he's been clocked at up there and when they do the individual numbers at 20 mile per hour plus. And his big play potential, I think, is the key for what they want to do offensively because out of some of the stuff that they can fake on the jet sweeps and stuff like that, that can open some lanes up for him, and he can really start going. The other thing is his accuracy as a thrower. I think if I look over the years where Navy, that I've been here, they've had some guys that can throw the football downfield, but the accuracy might not have been there. And I think when you look at his percentage numbers, he's completing around 62% of his passes. And I think that's what separates him, that they're very comfortable 3rd down and 3 throwing the football. I mean, against Air Force earlier this season, they threw the ball twice on 4th and 1, and that would never happen the last 10, 15 years. So they're comfortable in those situations on 3rd and short and 4th and short throwing the football.
On the flip side, it's pick your poison, right? Either you got C.J. Carr throwing it all over the yard, finding his big guys downfield, Malachi Fields, or it's the two-headed monster running back situation. Teams have been stacking the box against Notre Dame and saying, hey, CJ, throw it. If you're going to throw it downfield. You're going to beat us that way. What is Navy's approach with Notre Dame's offense?
I think it really starts with stopping the running attack. I mean, Drew Messamaker, a quarterback last week for North Texas, he's getting some national pub. He's one of the best in the American Conference. He was excellent last week, but it was stopping the run that was what they needed to do, and they just didn't do that enough in the first half. And that you look at Love and Price, you got to stop them first and foremost.
Navy's teams that I played against, they looked at their offense kind of as their defense, and it was to keep us off the field. And so then it really was, if we were going to run the ball, that would likely mean shortening the game itself. And cutting down the number of possessions. Now, I think the one thing that this Notre Dame team has that maybe, a couple of my teams lacked was a home run hitter at the running back position. Because if you can break one for 70 or 80 yards, that's going to be a quick score. Now, if you're having to go, 80 yards on 10 plays, that plays in the Navy's favor because then you're limiting the number of possessions you have.
What is the key, you think, to a Navy keeping it close in the second half and possibly keeping in that range of the upset bid at Notre Dame Stadium for the first time in 2 decades?
I hate to sound like some announcer from the 1970s, but it's stopping the run and not turning the ball over would be my first 2 keys. I mean, I think that's the 2 things that you have to focus in on the most. But the other thing is offensively, like they moved the ball last week against North Texas. They went back up and down the field. I mean, they're still averaging almost 7 yards a play. So offensively, they've got to score points. It's touchdowns in the red zone, not field goals, and not making mistakes inside the red zone. Last year, it was just a disaster the first 15 minutes, all the turnovers, and they're out of the game like that. So it's got to be a better start. It's the obvious things of you're not going to stop Love, but you got to hold them, can't allow those big plays, and you've got to conjure up some big plays on the offensive side of the football field.
Joe Miller, we wish you the best of luck on the call, and enjoy South Bend, and hopefully we'll see you up there in the press box.
Will do. Always love coming there, so looking forward to it.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us here on ABC 57 Kickoff. We'll be right back.
Right now, the midshipmen are 7-1 on the season, and of course, this game with Notre Dame today at Notre Dame Stadium, part of the annual Salute to Service, honoring veterans and those serving in the U.S. military. Right now, including one veteran whose love for the Irish helped him find true love sitting right there in Notre Dame Stadium. ABC 57's Kickoff's reporter Talia Baya joins us live with a love story painted in blue and gold. Talia?
Hey, Vahid. Yes, God, country, Notre Dame. That's what this weekend is all about because football is bigger than the game. It's about family, love, and relationships. I met with a disabled vet who embodies all of that, a former fighter for the Navy who served for 6 years, meeting his greatest love here in South Bend. Hey, I love the jacket.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Serge.
Serge Talia.
Nice to meet you.
Serge R. Romero from Long Island, New York. Served as a firefighter in the Navy from 1981 to 1987, spending most of his time in the Great Lakes and Puerto Rico. His service wasn't easy, though, from plane crashes to a brush fire that nearly cost him his life.
I would do it again. It was a job I loved, and I have no regrets.
After being medically retired, life brought Serge to Indiana and to the love of his life, Carol. Their very first date, 34 years ago, during the Notre Dame Navy game. The couple stopped by a local bar for some drinks. Then an older man next to them wasn't feeling well and didn't want to go to the game. So they traded him a beer for 2 tickets. What do you remember most about that game? The crowd, the energy, special moment?
The first thing I found was it was welcoming from somebody that was not even from the state. You know, the people, they're friendly. I just found it a great place to live and eventually raise our family.
Notre Dame brings people together. It's a feeling that Notre Dame gives you. When you're living here all my life, I've had it inside. So I was glad that he accepted it and grew with me with that.
That 1991 game ended in a Navy win, which made Serge happy. And in the stands, through snow and cold, the couple shared their first kiss. The rest was history. What does that first game in 1991 together, when you look back, mean to you beyond football?
Well, it was actually the start of my life for the last 35 years.
A life that I've enjoyed. I've had children. I've met my life partner. He's been through a lot. I've been through a lot. If you have the love for something else, that love can spread to other things. I had a love for Notre Dame. My husband came along, and then I had a love for him.
2 years later, they were married after a trip to the 1993 Cotton Bowl in Dallas, where Serge never left Carol's side.
We're very similar. That's the best way I can put it. And she's like, or my yin to my yang.
He's kind. He's willing to be vulnerable and overcome because he's been through a lot.
Yeah.
Military is hard. It's not easy for anybody. And then everything else.
Oh, thank you.
And I love you.
Oh, well,
Now, the couple is heading back to where it all began, Notre Dame Stadium, thanks to VEDX, an organization that donates game tickets to veterans and active service members. What are they most excited about?
It's the vibe. Like I said, Notre Dame brings people together.
The music, it's the
people. It's the companionship that they give you.
The chance encounter 34 years ago and 1 beer for tickets trade turned into a lifetime of love rooted in the heart of South Bend. You guys can thank Notre Dame, basically, for your love.
Yes, I'm sure of that.
I agree with that.
We would tailgate together. We would hang out together. We would, attend tailgate parties, and it would just grew and grew and grew. And the love that he grew for Notre Dame grew with me.
Sometimes it's just a magical thing that happens, and you just can't explain it.
Yeah, so I guess love does work in mysterious ways. So if you're headed to the game tonight, you might want to spark a conversation to the person next to you, because that person might just be your soulmate. But for now, reporting live from the campus of Notre Dame, I'm Talia Baya. Back to you, Vahid.
Irish have the ball at the BC44, and Carr wants to go for it all again. Will Pauling's open at the 10, catches, and he walks in. Another touchdown for Notre Dame. Carr hits Pauling.
That was Tony Simeone, play-by-play caller for the Notre Dame radio network. A little shake and bake in a 44-yard touchdown pass from C.J. Carr to Will Pauling last week as the Irish squeak by Boston College 25-10. While Notre Dame left Chestnut Hill the victors, it's no denying the Irish really weren't playing up to their level of ball. A slow start in the first half, leading the game 12-10 at halftime. The Irish did eventually get going in the second half. They are down a few key playmakers heading into tonight's game against Navy. Let's look at the on-the-mend injury report for Notre Dame. On the watch list, we'll have to wait and see about junior cornerback Christian Gray. He is listed as questionable heading into tonight's game. Without Gray, might have a hip injury. Without Gray, the Irish defense gave up 269 yards passing to Boston College, making him a noticeable absence from the line. Senior defensive lineman Gabe Rubio will sit out yet another game. He's been out recovering from a left arm injury since before the Irish hosted West Coast rival USC a couple weeks ago. One of the best defenders for the Irish, Rubio's absence, coupled with center Ashton Craig's season-ending injury, has been a challenge for the Notre Dame defense. And another blow. This might be the biggest one of all today. Defensive tackle and redshirt team captain Donovan Heinisch will sit out tonight. Heinisch is on concussion protocol. He's believed to have taken a big hit during practice this week because he wasn't listed on the injury report until Thursday. Heinisch has 10 tackles and half a sack on the season so far. The Irish are expected to shift Gerby Lambert or Styles Prescott to the defensive tackle spot in the meantime. And, of course, we are not sure about Jaden Greathouse. Cooper Flanagan, as you see on your screen, remains questionable. Suffered an Achilles injury during the Sugar Bowl last year. And, of course, the aforementioned wide receiver, Greathouse, he could be out again. We will see if he returns to the field for the rest of the regular season. Let's bring in our quarterback and the expert, Evan Sharpley, one more time here this half hour. Evan, of all of those players that you saw, Greathouse, Rubio, Christian Gray, who is going to be the missing link today?
I don't know if you just point at one guy. I mean, there's a lot of holes in that, and you're playing a team like Navy where it's a unique offense. You prep for it when you can, leading up to the game. But really, everything starts at the defensive line. So you've got to look there. Notre Dame's got to control the line of scrimmage. They're going to have to stop the run if they want to have success today. So I don't point at just one guy. I think it's a collection of, who's hurt, but it's still that mentality of whoever's in, you can't have a drop-off. So, whoever's going to be inserted in those spots, baby, they got to be ready to play.
You're giving me the Marcus Freeman talk right now. You're giving me the next man up mentality. I can tell you played football.
Listen, I've been around coaches long enough to know what to say here.
And you're a coach yourself, so you're giving me that coach speak right now. But if you had one player, Rubio on the defensive line. All right, we're going to be right back talking more football here with Evan Sharpley and more here from ABC 57 Kickoff in our Salute to Service. We'll be right back.
Fight, 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 fight. Sacrifice, unselfish sacrifice. We're going to get them on a run. We're going to go, go, go. And we aren't going to stop until we go to that goal line. We are Notre Dame.
Get on the bus. Next stop, Notre Dame Stadium.
From the house that Rockne built to the dynasty of Ara Parseghian, this is the home of Fighting Irish football.
The place where greatness is earned 1 yard at a time. The field that forged Notre Dame legends like Theismann, Montana, and Brown.
The land of never quit, never surrender. The legacy, the passion, the tradition. That is Notre Dame football.
ABC 57 Kickoff is back.
Bigger and better
than ever. You're watching ABC 57 Kickoff, presented by Afdent Dental, live from the campus of Notre Dame, with your host, Vahid Sadrazadeh.
Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff. It is a perfect November day for football. Yes, cloudy right now, some moisture moving in to the atmosphere a little later on today. Maybe some snow, maybe some rain. Going to cool down. The winds are going to pick up. It's a perfect day for college football and this long-standing rivalry of Notre Dame and Navy. I'm your host, Vahid Sadrazadeh. Welcome back to another edition of ABC 57 Kickoff. A berth in the postseason is up for grabs. Notre Dame comes into this matchup 6-2, 6 straight wins on the college football season. The Irish a week ago barely squeaking by their opponents, the Boston College Eagles, 25-10 on the road in Chestnut Hill. Sloppy in all three phases, but a glaring red flag of the kicking game. We will tackle all of those topics and concerns this hour. But first, the biggest news of the week, the college football playoff rankings. The first rankings of the season dropped on Tuesday night. Notre Dame really with a great spot coming in at number 10. If you look on the left-hand side of your screen, that first-round matchup, they're ahead of one-loss teams like Louisville, Virginia, Georgia Tech, and other two-loss teams like Texas, Oklahoma, and Miami, who beat them head-to-head earlier this season. If the playoffs were to start right now, the Irish would travel to Utah to take on number 7 BYU. But remember, BYU plays Texas Tech today, so that's all going to change. At the top, you have Alabama at 4, Texas A&M at 3, the Hoosiers coming in at the 2 seed, and atop of the playoff rankings, at least for this week, the Ohio State Buckeyes. Coming up, we break down the rankings and alternate scenarios facing the Irish down the stretch, but our team is live right now all over campus getting you ready for game day. Talia Baya standing by with reaction, how fans are feeling about the Irish kicking game and Notre Dame coming in at number 10 in the rankings. But first, a check of the forecast. ABC57 First Warning neighborhood weather meteorologist Emmett Toomey. Give us the up-to-the-minute forecast, Emmett. A possibility of a lot of rain, a lot of wind, and maybe a lot of snow tonight.
Hey, good morning, Vahid. Yeah, Michiana, if you saw me cringe there for a little second, it's because I saw a guy in a dinosaur costume just completely wipe out on his bike in front of me. He got up, thankfully, but we're not even in the bad weather yet. We already got fans slipping and sliding on the sidewalks here, and trust me, it's going to get a lot worse tonight. We got rain and snow in the forecast for game time. Going to start as rain, go to snow probably by the third or fourth quarter. But let's talk about temperatures first and foremost. I think that's what everybody's mind is on right now. Now, our temperatures currently are about the low 40s, but you had that light wind. It's going to make things feel chilly like the mid-30s. I got my coat on. We got some sprinkles coming down, rain sprinkles. Don't worry, not snow sprinkles. But that coldest Notre Dame temperature for kickoff is likely going to be today. It was Boston College last week, then NC State, then A&M, but today is going to take the crown for the coldest kickoff temperature by far. Speaking of, let's talk about the cold weather, the triple option, the run game. Notre Dame 2-2 in the rain. The rainy rushing touchdowns. They have 10 of their 22 rushing touchdowns in the rain this season, and Price, of course, a little bit more efficient than Jeremiah Love is in that rain. We're going to watch for it a little bit later today, though. Vahid, it's sure to be a messy one, a gray one, but it's Notre Dame versus Navy. I don't think we'd have it any other way.
Yeah, thanks, Emmett. November football indeed in South Bend. After 6 straight wins, the Irish climbed up to number 10 in the college football playoff rankings, but not everybody's happy about it. Our ABC 57's Talia Bai has been scrolling all week to break down what's been buzzing. Talia, what are fans saying on social?
Hey, Vahid, like you said, yeah, the buzz all week in the college football world has been those rankings, and of course Notre Dame is sitting at number 10, causing a lot of ruckus. Why? Of course, they're sitting above a lot of one-loss teams like Louisville, Virginia, and even Georgia Tech. So I was scrolling all week, and here are some of the biggest reactions. Take a listen. The graphic with all the chaos. If the season ended last week, Notre Dame would be traveling to Utah to face the Cougars. In order to host a playoff game, Notre Dame needs to be the 8th seed. Still, very much possible. But still, college football fans are not happy. Hundreds of comments and millions chiming into the conversation, calling out the committee for putting them over a 2-loss Oklahoma and Texas. Also, jumping ahead several one-loss teams, including Virginia, Louisville, and Georgia Tech. But there's always two sides of the convo. People agreeing and saying they literally made it to the playoffs last year. And no, this is a better team than we saw in 2024. Marcus Freeman, however, said rankings are the last thing on his mind.
In the minute we start thinking about college football playoff ranking, you're just wasting time. It's a great reminder. It might happen naturally. It's a great reminder when you start doing that, get back to the moment, get back to work, because that's what's important.
But with controversy comes good memes, and let me tell you, Twitter's got some good ones this week. My take. I low-key feel bad for Miami. They lost to Louisville and SMU, and they went from being number 2 in the country to number 18. I'm not complaining, and I totally understand the reasoning of it, but if I were a Hurricane, I would be very frustrated. Then, of course, was the kicking issues against BC. A total of 5 missed points from 3 different kickers. Freeman clearly not happy.
The issues were every time we kicked the ball, it did not go in between the field goal posts. And so that's the issue.
My take, with all this negativity, I feel like this will be the Kickers' vengeance game, especially after watching that viral video of Denbrock ripping into Marcelo. And lastly, with a lot of noise, Jeremiah Love in Heisman Trophy conversations. My highest viewed video of the week? Well, take a guess. So my take is, as much as Jeremiah Love has been the best running back in the country, it is a quarterback-dominated award, especially when you have Ohio State's Julian Sand, who's putting up 23 touchdowns and over 2,000 yards. I think the odds are a little tough, but hey, if he keeps making good plays and takes them to the Natty, you never know. But for now, reporting live from the campus of Notre Dame, I'm Talia Baya. Back to you, Vahid.
All right, thanks so much, Talia. Coming up here on ABC 57 Kickoff, so much more to come. Micah Shrewsbury, Marcus Burton, and Logan Imes going to be joining us for a little hoops action coming off a big win last night at Purcell Pavilion. And our salute to service continues here. A good friend of mine, a former colleague of mine at the University of Notre Dame. He is the Director of Military and Veterans Affairs, Ken Heckel. He joins us here on ABC 57 Kickoff. We'll be right back on this beautiful November game day.
It's a way for the Notre Dame community to remember those who have served our great nation.
This is our prayer that all living Notre Dame men and women dedicate themselves to the service of their country and world peace.
Under a watchful eye and a snow-white sky, the next leaders of our nation protect our freedoms while honoring the fallen.
I come from a very long-standing tradition of thousands of officers that have been commissioned into the Navy out of Notre Dame, and it's something that's very special.
It's a special week for Notre Dame senior and Navy first-class midshipman Carissa Baldwin. Her Irish play Navy.
Midshipman Baldwin reporting for duty. You are relieved.
This is also her last shift, standing guard over Stonehenge.
It's a staple of the Notre Dame experience for me. It's in hundreds of pictures that I've taken, and it's in the walk that I see on the way to my classes. It's not really even known by a lot of students to be a war memorial. So I think that's something that I try to tell people when I show them around campus or when they ask about the vigil.
The vigil she refers to lasts for 24 hours. It's been a tradition on every Veterans Day since 9/11. No matter what weather Mother Nature may bring, over 200 members of the Notre Dame ROTC will stand at attention under the stone arches of the Clark Memorial Fountain.
There's 4 arches. On 3 of the scrolls, you'll see wars represented: World War II, Korea, Vietnam. On the 4th scroll, in Latin, it's Pro Patria et Paci, which is Latin meaning for country in peace. Clark Memorial Fountain, which is now called by many Stonehenge, was dedicated by John Schur and Maud Clark in honor of John, Maud's husband, who served as an Army officer, and all those that served in World War II, Korea, and Vietnam. And more specifically, it's designed to recognize and honor those for their ultimate sacrifice. There was 500 Notre Dame students, alumni, that died during those wars.
Founded in 1842, it was only a few years later that Notre Dame had Continental cadets training next to the log chapel as they prepared to fight with the Union Army in the Civil War.
You think about the deep, rich history, the commitment to our nation's values, the commitment to our military.
God, country, Notre Dame, a phrase that has become synonymous with the university.
It was actually built as the east entrance to memorialize those that served 101 years ago during World War I. It's part of the fabric of the university. It's who we are.
The marriage of those 3 words wouldn't hold more true than during World War II.
In the 40s, when Notre Dame students all went to war, the Navy came in and saved Notre Dame by creating an officer training unit here on campus, which is really the beginning of our ROTC program.
It's a part of our integral history and the fact that Notre Dame is still here today.
First, starting with the Navy, and now serving all branches of our military, Notre Dame has continued its dedication to service.
It's really a special thing that we have all the detachments come together and stand guard for the 24 hours.
That's why students with the ROTC, like Carissa, are determined to care for this memorial under the dome.
Sometimes it's a wonderful place to stop and really reflect on what I have happening in my future. It reminds me that there are other people that went before me that gave their lives for me to be here. It's something that was put there for us to remember these people and to remember how Notre Dame has been involved in the protection of our country, but also, the millions of other people that it represents.
In the most extreme conditions, our future standing with a steadfast stare, protecting our past with eyes gazed, locked on keeping our tomorrows safe.
It draws attention to this monument, this testament to the men and women that served honorably, that gave the ultimate sacrifice. It's an opportunity to elevate them and highlight them and talk about them and pause for a minute and remember, help everybody remember, and we can never forget.
Our salute to service continues all day with a great tradition carried out every year by the Notre Dame ROTC, standing guard at Stonehenge. A big thanks to Carissa, who is now serving our nation in the Navy, and the former Director of Military and Veterans Affairs, Reagan Jones. We are now joined by his successor in that same role. Proud to call him a former colleague. Used to work with him at the University of Notre Dame, a retired Lieutenant Colonel in the United States Army, Ken Heckel. Thanks so much for being with us, Ken. Just a joy to have you on this special weekend for you guys.
Thanks for having me today here, Fahid. Really appreciate it. It's great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you as well. I know it is a big week. We just talked about some of the events that you have going on, and your position, actually, directorship, was actually just endowed.
It was, yes.
So congratulations on that. But talk about the weekend as a whole and, the mission behind the office and what makes Notre Dame, what makes your approach to the ROTC so special?
Yeah, well, thank you. So really in the Office of Military and Veterans Affairs, what we do is we support the entire military-connected community at the university. So for us, that starts with our students, extends to our faculty, our staff, our alumni, anybody that's military-connected in any way, those who aspire to serve, which are our ROTC students, those that are currently serving. We've got a bunch of active duty students here, and those that have served. Got a lot of student veterans here, as well as dependents of those who are serving or have served. So it's really a big tent approach, if you will. We're trying to include the entire community and helping to elevate the ethos of servant leadership that's so common in military service. So that's really what we do.
Yeah, that's fantastic. What as you look at carrying this mission forward for Notre Dame's ROTC, and you're kind of heading up that mission, as the world changes and as we go towards a new era, what are you guys doing to make sure that Notre Dame changes with the times?
Yeah, I appreciate that question. I think the most important thing for us is that Notre Dame remains a place where our military-connected students, again, whether they're ROTC students or student veterans or active duty students, find Notre Dame as a place where they can reflect, they can study, they can grow, they can develop, and then as they leave Notre Dame and become alumni, can continue to serve in whatever way they choose, whether that's civic service, whether that's in the military, whether that's in industry, that they see Notre Dame as a place that is welcoming to them, that values their call to serve the nation, and ultimately to serve others above themselves, which is super consistent with Notre Dame's mission to be a force for good in the world.
Well, and when I read this first, I'm like, this is crazy, because you look like you just graduated college. But, you served 23 years in the U.S. Army, from Bosnia to Afghanistan and Iraq. How did those experiences shape who you are today?
Yeah, well, so I grew up a kid in the Midwest in the suburbs of Columbus, Ohio, and coming to Notre Dame really opened my eyes and perspective to the different types of cultures and experiences and perspectives that magnified immensely when I went into the military. So the opportunity to serve, as you mentioned, whether it's overseas in deployed areas, here back in the States, the opportunity to serve on some of the most diverse teams you can imagine in the military and working with other nations opened my eyes to different perspectives and just was really wonderful for me. I would say the greatest leadership lesson that I learned that I try to kind of reflect on consistently is ultimately the importance of trust. In the military, especially for us in the Army, that's a people business, and it's important as a leader or whether you're part of a team to have this immense sense of trust of those that you're surrounded with, because we're going to ask our servicemen and women to do some pretty interesting and dangerous things over the course of their time in service. And you certainly can't do that without a strong bond of trust as members of the team and as a leader or a follower or whatever position you might be in the military. So trust is certainly the number one leadership lesson I learned.
Well, Notre Dame trusts you, and Notre Dame's in good hands moving forward. Ken Heckel, thank you so much for being with us, and
Thanks
thank you
for
for your service and all you do for our students and for Notre Dame.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll be right back here on ABC 57 Kickoff. We're going to hoop it up with some of the members of the Notre Dame men's basketball team right after this.
Are you ready tonight? I'm trying to go harder than I ever win. Niel, Ivy, and Michael Shrew!
Thank you all for being here. We really appreciate all your support. This is super exciting for us to have our first Irish Jam.
Greetings, Shrewsbury! From Birchenville, New Jersey, Hannah! Junior guard from Mishawaka, Indiana, Marcus Burton!
I love 574 guys, so I gotta get him on my team.
Go! Moneyball, baby! Great Shrewsbury with 18!
Some of the sights and sounds from the Irish Jam event held earlier this year right across the street on Eddy Street, and joining us here, we're so lucky to have these guys here, head coach Micah Shrewsbury, Logan Imes, and of course Penn star Marcus Burton joining us here. Guys, thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's a quick turnaround. You just said it yourself, starting the season 2-0. Last night, Detroit Mercy comes into Purcell Pavilion. You guys handle your business. It just looks like a little different look and feel to this team early in the season.
Yeah, I think this is about as fun as I've ever had coaching a group of guys, just because they're such hard workers. They enjoy each other's success, and we got really good players too, so that's always fun.
Yeah, these guys next to you, not too bad. Marcus, 2-0 to start the season. Talk about coming off last year and all the accolades. What is important for you this year to accomplish other than, the big dream of making the tournament? What else is important to you this year?
The main thing is to win. I feel like we all have the same end goal, and I feel like we've all been competing and playing very hard to complete that. And I feel like that's what we've been doing, and I feel like that's what we're gonna continue to do, and that's what we're all here about, and we just want to win.
Yeah, and when you were sidelined last year for a couple of games, Logan, you stepped in and really took the reins. And now early in this young season, I know he's been stressing defense, and kind of being dogs on that basketball court. What are you sensing with your teammates this year?
Yeah. I mean, everyone's definitely taking that side seriously. I mean, using our defense to kind of propel our offense to, use that side as the motivating side. So just playing hard, trying to get kills, 3 stops in a row. That's our goal. So, yeah, just keep doing that every time on the court.
So I know in the preseason we talked in media day a lot about the mentality of this team and down the stretch and how important it is going to be to turn those one-score games around. What have you seen from the guys early on? Again, it is a couple games into the season, but what are you seeing from them that gives you hope that that's going to be the case this year in the ACC?
I think you can see some maturity in how we've started games. Everybody's been ready to play at the start of games. Even when we've had, small lulls within games, we've regrouped pretty quickly. So, we don't get those close game experiences right now. We haven't gotten them in games 1 and game 2, but there are things that we've done that says, hey, we're going to be able to handle these the right way.
What about playing with some new teammates? You guys got a few transfers and, of course, some young guys who have come in to contribute to this team. What is it like gelling with those guys early on?
I mean, it's wonderful, man. We have a lot of good group of guys. We have guys that wants to win. We got guys that buy in, and I feel like when you have those two things, it's easy to win and it's easy to compete and do the things that you want to do. So I feel like we have a solid group.
Well, and not only inside, right, rebounding, which you've stressed, but it's that outside shooting. And last night you guys were on fire. You know, Logan, you and Braden, I mean, Marcus from beyond the arc. You guys are just hitting those you guys like to take those three-pointers. and it's a good game. Last night when you hit them over 100 points, you know, do you like to set the tone from the outside, or is it rebounding, kicking out?
I think it's a little bit of both, right? Like we try and start the game in the paint, right? We always talk about dominating the paint, and if we can force the defense lower on the court or force them to guard inside first, it opens up the outside game for us. And you know, when you have great shooters on your team, you know, along with Braden, Cole, Ryder, Brady Kaler, Garrett Sundra, a bunch of guys that can make shots. It really opens up the court for Marcus to drive, for Kevin Carson to score inside. So good things happen when you play inside out, but you know, threes are worth more than two. So I always like those. Yeah.
And have you tested my skills yet? We haven't played yet.
We have not played yet.
But you've heard the legend.
I watched you last year shoot and play horse last season. So if we're going to shoot out here, I feel pretty confident in my abilities today.
We are going to play a little game of, like, what do you call this? Like knockout. And we've got our two commentators over here. I'm going to drop this, get the ball. We're going to play some knockout. I will not go first because I am not very good.
One ball knockout's going to be tough.
How about some free throws here? It's one ball. If you miss it, the guy behind you has a chance to knock you out.
Gotcha.
All right?
Am I first?
Yeah, sure. We'll let you go first.
Pressure's on.
Pressure.
From the outside. Let's get some fans going. Let's go. Head coach Mike is Shrewsbury first. What do you think, guys?
Let's go. Shrewsbury for the win.
I'm trying to read the win here.
And here he goes.
Get in there.
Oh.
Dang it.
Here we go.
First shot. That's all right.
All right. So Logan with a chance to knock him out.
Logan, here we go, Imes.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Take my ball and go home then.
Shrewsbury is out. Here we go. Marcus Burton.
Oh, we got two alive.
The wind wasn't blowing during their shots like it was on mine.
Azadi.
Pressure's on Vahid for three.
Sure.
Oh.
He's done.
Got a chance.
I'm in trouble. I am in trouble.
We might be here all day, though.
Oh, no.
I'm still
left
alive.
the window open.
Marcus Burton.
To close it out.
Yeah,
Wait, so he's out?
She's out.
How are you still in?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Pressure's on now.
Oh, for two.
Again, all right.
You might need to take the jacket off.
Close your eyes.
Best
Close your eyes,
in all
Marcus.
of Indiana. Up.
Oh, he closed him.
Oh,
He closed him, too.
Marcus Burton with the
closed him,
win.
too.
Best guard in Indiana, averaging
Appreciate
41 points last season.
Appreciate it. Let's play one more game. We got a little bit of time. Let's play one more game.
I'm more now.
He wants some revenge.
All right.
I got to go first again?
Yeah, let's
all right,
one more game. One more
I was
game.
too close last time. There we go.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
Nothing but that. All right.
Oh.
No.
Logan, you
I
next?
got it, yeah, sure.
There we go. Logan Imes.
He's heating up.
Yellow. That's
Buckets.
nice.
Vahid. Here we go.
Sorry.
Redemption.
Step in front of the camera.
No.
And he misses.
Is he out
Another
if I
brick.
make this?
All right, Shrewsbury.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm out if you make it.
This is your chance.
Oh, live streaming.
Oh,
no.
Who's
Opposite-handed.
Oh.
Tickles its wine.
Wow. Wow.
Oh my God! And he takes Pete out on
Looking
the
at the
phone.
phone
There
with
you
one
go.
hand.
That is Notre Dame
That was
head
cold.
coach Shrewsbury.
Ooh, baby.
Ooh, and Burton with another.
Let me just
swish.
rebound for you
Yeah,
guys.
that's a good.
Just
Dominate the paint,
Here,
Vahid.
I'm still in. I made mine right-handed last time. You guys iced me out.
Oh, we're
You
moving
skip
back.
back.
Yes.
Oh, he keeps going back for downtown.
Nothing but
Shrews from downtown.
Oh, baby.
Okay.
Who's next?
I think it's you.
Me again?
Shrewsbury.
Yeah, keep going back. Let's go.
To get Logan
Deeper.
out
Wow.
right here, Shrews.
From South Bend.
Oh.
Just a little
Is that it?
short.
Is it just
Final
us?
shot. This is it.
Game it.
For
3,
the W.
2, 1.
Oh.
Redemption.
All right, here we go. Time to get your player out.
Money.
Oh.
Now we can't make a bucket.
Come on, you gotta
It's
end
gonna
on a
be
good
over.
note.
We can't make this.
One more shot.
Logan.
Rainmaker.
That's
Good.
it.
There we
From
go.
downtown.
Basketball team
Look at
joining
that.
us here on ABC 57 Kickoff. We'll be right back.
Notre Dame football over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The mission continues.
Welcome back to ABC 57 Kickoff, a perfect November day for football. The 98th all-time meeting between Notre Dame and Navy coming up at 7:30 p.m. tonight. A live look on campus. The leaves are gorgeous, but if you're coming to the game, you might want to bring a rain jacket, gloves, hats. It is a cool day here in Southern. No, look at these guys.
I thought we were going inside.
I'm like, you guys, this is football weather, and you guys showed up.
It's warmer in Granger. Yeah.
Tim Priester and Tim O'Malley from Irish Illustrated. Always a treat to have you guys on. Thanks so much for being here. Let's talk about this November weather. For kickers, not so great maybe tonight. And if you're a Notre Dame kicker, behind door number 3 is a guy named Eric Schmidt. So talk about the Notre Dame kicking game, and each of you can kind of go, but
what's going on?
What's going on? Who's going to kick for the Irish?
It's just pretty rare when you have 3 guys kicking in one game and everybody was as bad as they were. But Coach Freeman's going with Eric Schmidt, the guy that the scholarship kicker of the group. Of course, Noah Burnett is the transfer in. I would anticipate that Burnett is still a little bit banged up. I mean, otherwise they would go with the veteran. Eric Schmidt has a big leg. I mean, we were at practices in August, and you could hear his kicks as much as you could see the distance of them. But he's got to find the range. He's had 2 field goal attempts, and neither one have been very accurate.
I think the issue is last year Notre Dame encountered the same thing when Mitch Jeter was hurt. They were 3 for 11 on field goals last year in the regular season, but then everybody remembers January Jeter coming in and winning games for them, especially against Penn State. If Noah Burnett can get healthy, I don't know if he gets to Jeter's level, but at some point you want Burnett, who has had a season where he was 19-23. Now he's a few years removed from that. I think he has to be the kicker of the future, but if Eric Schmidt can come in, make all his extra points, hit a field goal today, go to Pittsburgh, hit a field goal, maybe you don't switch from Schmidt. Maybe he can seize the job in this time.
You've played with somebody who it was right up here, and were they able to fix it?
Well, I was a holder too, so you're working with those guys day in and day out, and a lot of it can be mental. It's the physical thing for these guys. You got one job, you're focusing on that one job, and you would think you'd be able to execute that. But sometimes you get in your head a little bit, and once you bounce back, and I think you made a great point. Once you start to get hot and build some consistency, that's really what you're looking for. And hopefully, again, my prop bet still today is that they don't kick any field goals. I think they may be going for it on some 4th downs if they have to. But once you get that confidence back, and especially the team, they'll rally behind you.
Let's turn to the defense. Notre Dame with 2 big turnovers a week ago.
Trips to the top of the formation for James. He's pressured, steps up, throws on the run, intercepted! Adon Schuler at the 5-yard line, goes out of bounds, and the Irish take it away!
And that was Adon Schuler's big interception a week ago, but it all doesn't happen, guys, without the guys up front. Gabe Rubio is not here, is not suiting up this week because of injury. How does that affect what Navy does with their triple option?
Also, not, with a concussion, Donovan Heinisch, which we found out during the week. That's a big blow, I mean, those 2 guys, Rubio has proven that he's very good against triple option football, and I think Heinisch has too. Heinisch is just kind of a little bit of a do-everything defensive lineman. So that hurts a little bit. I think really the bigger loss on the interior is Billy Schrouth and Ashton Craig on the other side of the ball, because of the two guys that they're going against for Navy. Landon Robinson and Griffin Willis are 4th and 5th on the team in tackles, which is a rarity for interior defensive linemen. But I think I still think it's a young and a beaten-up Navy offensive line. So I think Notre Dame has enough depth at defensive tackle to compensate. But when you're dealing with a triple option and everything that goes with it now with Drew Cronick as the Navy offensive coordinator, it gets a little bit tricky.
Notre Dame has a lot of experience against the triple option, but interestingly enough, it's that front four that doesn't now because they're losing Rubio and Heinisch. Jared Dawson's a transfer from Louisville. I don't know how much he's seen the option. Elijah Hughes is a transfer from USC. He hasn't seen much of the option. Boubacar Traore and Jordan Botelho sat out last year's game with injuries. Bryce Young barely played last year, so we're going down the list. Jason Onye didn't play last year, but he did have a good game 2 years ago against the option. This is also a different option than most of these guys has seen. I think the back seven is a little bit more prepared for the first series or two than the front four might be. But when you settle in, you get a little bit used to a different blocking scheme. I think Jared Dawson's well built for this, but it might take a series or two where you get used to trying to trust your eyes and trust your blocking angles, and then they can get a little better as the game goes on.
If you're Navy's quarterback, does that make a big difference for you?
I mean, it's something you'll prepare for. And, on the defensive side, you try to simulate those things through the week or leading up to it. But, Tim, as you kind of pointed out, once you get into the flow of the game, it's ball, and you've got to execute and do your job. And if they're able to do that, tackle well, I think is really going to be the big thing. And then limit explosives. They're going to be able to have success.
All right, special teams, defense, and now the offense's turn.
Carl give it to Love, has a good hole, runs between it, here he goes, across the 20, over the 30, track meet, and you're not going to catch Jeremiah Love, across midfield, 30, 20, 10, to the house, 94 yards for the best back in college football.
Listen, if you want Jeremiah Love to pop a 94-yarder, he can do that. If you want Jadarian Price to pop off a 101-yard kick return, they can do that. What about 4th and 1 and 3rd and 2? Why can't we do those short yardage situations? Why are we having a problem with those this year?
Those have been a struggle. There's no doubt about it. And you went into the season with a pretty veteran offensive line. Now it's getting beaten up. I mentioned about Schrouth and Craig being out, and it's Joe Otting and Sullivan Absher in there. It's really hard to understand, because it's not like Notre Dame doesn't have a quality ground game. It's not like they don't have good running backs. But they've struggled with that, just like the red zone. I mean, Notre Dame is, this is the first time, I looked this up this morning, Notre Dame has gone 4 games without scoring 40 points in a game. That's the first time in the regular season. Now, they went 4 games in the playoffs last year and didn't do it, but that's the first time in the regular season that Notre Dame hasn't scored 40 points over a 4-game span since 2019. I mean, it's kind of hard to believe that, and I think they get to that today, but it's a test of will when it's 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, and they haven't been able to do it consistently. And as good as the defense has been, the defense hasn't been able to stop the opposing team on 3rd and 4th and very short.
To get to 40, you're going to have to maintain possession. That means converting on 3rd and 1 and 4th and 1, and that's the issue. If Navy can make Notre Dame punt twice, it's a massive win for the midshipmen. Navy only forces 2 punts a game. Notre Dame often does not punt against Navy. With their goal-to-go struggles, Notre Dame's, if you punt twice against Navy for some reason in short yardage, I don't expect them to. I expect them to go for it. But if you have to punt twice from your own end and you get stopped in the red zone, which I know we're going to get to, that's 3 possessions lost in what might be an 8 or 9 possession game. That can add up. Short yardage woes can't continue against Navy. That plays right into their hands.
I mean, you started with explosives. I think I'll use a baseball analogy. How do you not strike out? You don't miss your pitch early in the count. And if they don't get to those 3rd and shorts or 4th and shorts, if they're able to hit some explosives, control the line of scrimmage, you're not in those situations. But you talked about identity, and that's what those downs are. 3rd and 4th and short are their identity downs. And I think the same thing with the red zone. And, hopefully they're able to figure things out here towards the end of the season, because you've got to have an identity, and clearly you got to score touchdowns.
Well, when you come down to the end of the game, you're going to play teams that stack the box. Yeah. It's going to be mano-y-mano. Hey, can you get the ball across the line? We saw that Texas A&M game, and Miami, of course, was pushing Notre Dame around earlier this season, so we'll see. Let's talk about the rankings really quickly before we go to break. Coming in at number 10 in the college football playoff rankings, are they ranked where they should be? and could they be ranked higher?
I think they're a top 10 team. They sometimes look like a top 6 team, but I contend that if Notre Dame did not roll through the playoff last year, they would not be number 10 right now. Now, they rolled through the playoff last year. People are human in that room. They saw them beat Georgia handily. They saw them beat Penn State. They saw them come back against Ohio State. They saw them handle Indiana. If none of that happens, I don't know if this is a number 10 resume in the country right now, because they don't have a big win other than USC. Now, their losses look, the A&M loss looks great, other than, of course, how it happened for Notre Dame fans, but I think there's a lot of equity built up in this Notre Dame program, and they should take it. They should be happy they have that equity, because if they can roll through, they'll be in the playoff.
I don't think we would have been surprised if they were 11th, 12th, 13th this week, but when we saw them in the 10th spot, that's a great place to be. You know, now not only is it great to be 10th, you're in a position to maybe move up to 8th if you win the rest of your games and you get a little bit of help in front of you, which you will. Brigham Young, Texas Tech playing today, Oregon having to play USC coming up. So, you know, I mean, when you consider where they were after losing the first 2 games, the thought of them being 10th with a chance to be in the top 8 to play here in this stadium in December, pretty advantageous for them.
I think, you know, the cliche is they control their own destiny, and it's going to be winning out. There's a lot more football games to be played, and there's some things that, you know, they aren't controlling, and there could be some other losses. So they go in and take care of business. Yeah, you could see them move up, and, you know, it would be pretty cool to have a home game come playoff time.
All right, stick around. We're going to have these guys give their final predictions, X factors. When we come back, we'll wrap it up here on ABC 57 Kickoff. Stay with us.
Well, I'm live here on Notre Dame Avenue, where the crowds are buzzing a little bit. The cars are going as well. If you're going to be hitting up tailgating or game time today, let's get you with that full forecast here. Take a look. So temperatures kicking off 4 p.m., 46 degrees. I'm going to be here in the afternoon. It's going to be cloudy, but it's going to be quiet for the most part, just gloomy. You're going to notice the skies are getting a little bit darker. And, of course, that sunset happening earlier and earlier doesn't really help easier. Now, let's talk about game time. Kickoff is right around 7 o'clock. Those temperatures are going to be in the low 40s, winds 5 to 10 miles an hour, so that wind chill is going to be a little bit lower in the mid-30s. Plan on rain for the first half of the game, and then likely we're going to see a little bit of snow in the second half. That snow persists overnight. It won't stick, but it makes things messy, and of course it's going to be cold. Make sure you bundle up just like the coat I've got on here. We'll have a look at your final game time forecast here at the end of the hour.
Well, a treat here on ABC 57 Kickoff to be joined by senior linebacker Jerry Rullo, who we first spoke to. If I remember correctly, Jerry, you were serving breakfast at the Center for the Homeless last year to veterans and volunteering, which you often do. And I know it's a game day, so thank you so much for making time for us today.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you know, you are a finalist for the Navy Federal Credit Union, ROTC, an All-American Scholarship. What does this honor mean to you?
I mean, it's a great honor to me to be recognized by Navy Federal Credit Union. And I think more so it says a lot about our battalion here at Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish Battalion. We have such great leadership, such great cadets. They really foster a culture of excellence and service that I think allowed me to grow over my years here.
You really could have picked anywhere to go, you know, and study and be in the ROTC. Why Notre Dame?
I mean, Notre Dame has always been special to me. You know, I kind of have that family tradition like a lot of people. It's always been a magical place, you know, whether I'm coming out here for a football game as a kid. And then, you know, kind of growing in my time in high school, I really found Notre Dame to be a place that fostered growth on the academic, athletic, and spiritual fronts. And I think the ability to grow as a person and develop the kind of relationships that I think are really important in life was the key factor that kind of led me to Notre Dame.
And what was the decision? I know you're studying a degree in neuroscience, but what was the key factor in you saying, hey, I'm going to serve my country, I'm going to join the Army ROTC?
Yeah, I mean, service is really important to me. And I think, you know, like a lot of people that commit to that, I felt that call to service to serve this country. And, you know, I think it ultimately came down to when I consider what's the most meaningful and most important thing that I can do with my life. And for me, that was military service, and it was a career in medicine.
Was there a point at which you realized, like, yes, this is my path, and this is what I want to do, and I want to serve my country?
It's hard to say that there was a specific point. I think for me, it was sort of a gradual process of coming to that understanding. And it definitely originated with my parents. They were a great example for me, and they kind of showed that model for service and for leadership. And I think just kind of growing with the leaders that I've seen, whether, it's our cadre here at Notre Dame, or, plenty of the people and cadets that I've met along the way, it just kind of gradually reaffirmed my path.
A lot of the players that we have on the show, whether past, present, whatever it may be, the coach has a lot to do with the rest of their life and inspiring them. Mm-hmm. How has head coach Marcus Freeman inspired you over the past couple of years and been a pillar for you and your teammates?
Absolutely. I mean, Coach Freeman has just been a wonderful model to kind of develop that kind of leadership. He's a great players coach. And, from the moment that I joined the team, I joined as a walk-on my freshman spring. And, the moment I stepped in the Goog, he knew my name. He introduced me to the team. And he's a guy that looks out for, every member of the team, every member of the staff. And I think that's a great model for leadership.
Well, I think you're a great model for leadership for those around you, your teammates, and for younger people who aspire to go to Notre Dame. Listen, every day or every week we give out this GOAT trophy, so it's a GOAT award basically to a person on our staff who goes the extra mile, who shows that servant leadership and teammate ability. But we're going to give it to you today because you deserve it, my friend. That ROTC, the scholarship, being a finalist. So this is the GOAT award. So congratulations on winning that today.
Thank you.
What does that mean to you?
No, this is a huge honor as well. I've never received an award like this, so I'm grateful. Thank you.
Go show it off to your teammates here today. All right, thank you so much. Jerry Rulo joining us here. Good luck today.
Thank you.
As well versus Navy. We'll be right back here on ABC 57 Kickoff.
Well, Eddy Street certainly quiet, as is Notre Dame Avenue. The weather tonight, though, not going to be nearly as quiet. Let's talk about that. Notre Dame 2-2 in rain games so far this season. They're looking to make it 3-2 by the end of tonight against Navy. And just under half of Notre Dame's rushing touchdowns on the season have come in the rain. And in this case, they're probably going to be coming in the snow tonight as well. To quote the blind side, enough with the trick plays, Bert. Run the dang ball. Give it to Price. Give it to Love. That's your solution for tonight. Game time forecast. What you need to know. 7 o'clock, right around kickoff time. Temperatures in the low 40s, a light wind, probably going to rain a little bit here, and then that rain turning to snow later in the game, and that snow sticks with us through tomorrow. Going to be messy, but it is football weather, of course, for Notre Dame and Navy. No better way to have it. A blue-gray sky, cold. This is exactly what football was meant to be played in. We'll have a look at your forecast, of course, on air and online at ABC57. Live from Notre Dame Avenue, meteorologist Emma Toomey, ABC57 News.
All right, time for our X Factors and final predictions. Mr. Priester, we'll go to you first.
Well, I've already mentioned those interior offensive and defensive linemen. I think that the edge for Notre Dame there is, the backup defensive tackles going against a young Navy offensive line. The other thing is, Chris Ash hasn't coached against triple option football in a while, but the good thing there for Notre Dame is that Marcus Freeman has it figured out. And so obviously they put heads together this week just like they have, like they did when they struggled early in the season and got the defense together. So I think they'll handle that. Are we predicting now, or are we just going
Not
with
yet.
X
Yep,
first?
just your X Factor.
I think those are keys. I want to see what happens in the middle of both lines, and I think ultimately Notre Dame will have the upper hand in that area.
All right, Tally, quickly.
I like that. I have, hear me out, guys, kicker Eric Schmidt. I think this is his vengeance tour. I know he's 0 for 2 in field goals, but he's 13 of 14 for PAT, so expect maybe 6 to 8 points from him tonight.
All right, O'Malley?
Yeah, I think it's not the red zone offense, but it's the goal-to-go offense is where Notre Dame struggles. I think they're fine around the 20 to 25-yard line. It's when they get down close, because that is, of course, short-yardage situations as well. If they get stopped in goal-to-go in this game, I think it gets tight going into the fourth quarter. I think Notre Dame can't give away possessions against Navy without points.
Tough crowd.
When Notre Dame beats Navy, they score a lot of points. Yeah. The way to keep it close is if you're scoring 28 instead of 38.
Veed, I've got Blake Horvath for Navy, so I'm going to go on the Navy side of the ball. And what I'm saying here is if it's going good for Navy, it's because he's having a good game. But if he's shut down or turning the football over, I think it's going to be all Irish. So he's kind of the guy that I'm paying attention to, especially early on in the game.
Listen to me, guys. Drake Bowen is going to be the guy to watch. 15 tackles, I'm going to call it right now, 3 for loss. Their tackles for loss has really not been fantastic this year. So I'm going to go Drake Bowen, putting your guy Blake Horvath on his rear end here.
Well, I didn't say that he was going to have a great game.
So Drake Bowen is the one to watch for me, X Factor. All right, let's go final score predictions. Talia, we'll start with you.
Okay, I got 42-10. I think it needs to be a statement win, especially after that Boston College game wasn't too good. And, you know, they're ranked 10. They gotta make a statement.
All right, Priester?
I've got 40-21 again. Like I said, I think Notre Dame gets into the 40s this time around. And, you know, last year, Navy was just handing the football to Notre Dame, and they still scored 2 touchdowns. So I don't think they'll do that again this year. I think they'll have a little bit more success offensively. They'll get to 20, but Notre Dame will double their score essentially.
All right.
I'm sticking with the 42-17 range. Good Notre Dame teams score touchdowns on Navy. Good Notre Dame teams don't lose to Navy. This is a good Notre Dame team. Just don't shoot yourself in the foot, and you're getting 5 to 6 touchdowns.
30 seconds.
We got the same exact prediction, 42-17. I think, you know, Notre Dame's got to score each possession they get because the possessions are limited, but their offense, I think, is pretty dialed in for the most part. I think we're going to see some explosive plays, too.
52-10, the final score. I'm the only guy going with 50 points here today. The over on both. You're watching ABC 57 Kickoff. Go Irish. Thanks so much, guys. We'll see you next week.